Hi, guys. This is Adam with the wonderful Dr. Kori Propst. And one of the reasons I wanted to come on here today is we just wrapped up our first block of the Mental Edge program. And, this was not really, I want to say so much a trial run, but it was our first group of people. I think that our program was super solid the first time through. And not only was I amazed just how much we were able to help people, but even me as the coach and being, licensed through you as a mental health coach under the Diet Doc, I was so happy to be alongside with you, Kori. I learned so much, even as being a teacher within this process. I think one of the interesting things was a lot of my clients did this, so I actually got to learn so much about them. But we want to make this program inclusive to anyone. You do not have to be on my team. You do not have to be working with Kori or I as a clinician or diet or training coach. This is something that's really available to everyone. And, when I think what really this program is about is, the mental side of competing, which is huge. So this goes into binge prevention, engineering your environment for success, all the tools that anyone could really need to conquer contest prep. And I think Kori has it laid out in a beautiful fashion where everything's almost like a ladder. You're going to be able to go back and take some of the things you learned for our next lesson. And it's an 8-week course. And we would love to have you guys aboard. So I'll pitch this to Kori here for a bit, and she can tell us a little bit more about it, and we'll kind of go back and forth on how the program works.
Yeah, Adam, I think one of my favorite parts about this course is the live discussion that we have every week with all of the participants. I know as a coach, and you've expressed this to me before too, that I learn a ton from the clients that I work with. My skills, I become a better, more skilled clinician due to the work that I do and the collaboration that I have with each one of my clients. And, through this 8-week process, as we've really we've dived deep into 8 different, very important topics. The discussions that we have live with the participants have been, I think, pretty monumental, not just for us, of course, but when you guys as participants choose to get vulnerable and share your experiences and ask yourselves the tough questions and really engage in a process of reflection with us and with your peers, the learning can be really exponential. So with that being said, you mentioned, Adam, that we discuss like hunger and binge prevention and environmental engineering. This is a phrase that I came up with early on because it's just so important that we have a strong awareness of everything in our environment, everyone in our environment, all of the different sorts of inputs that are coming in and using our energy and our bandwidth and getting really familiar with those and becoming aware of maybe where we need to set some boundaries and some guidelines so that we do feel our best and are able to concentrate and focus. One of the topics that you decided was really important, and I completely agree with you, Adam, was feeling good enough. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I think that with the active competition, you can get second place or last place, and you can feel really robbed of just all your self-confidence. And you're in a very vulnerable position when you compete. We also spoke about today how, you don't really have any measuring sticks going into a different show, because the standard of competition always changes. But we did talk about, you can measure with different measuring sticks. What were the things I was good at? What were the things I would like to do better next time? And that kind of came back to emotional intelligence, which is one of the earlier lessons, but also, reaching deep down and finding what your strengths are and not focusing so much on the things that you're not good at, which is so easy to do in this industry. I think that feeling good enough was probably one of my favorite things, because I think we even talk about relationships. So, these competitors sometimes feel like they're failing in their relationships because of their show. And we're teaching you how to keep those in check and kind of cut out the noise, the things that seem important during prep that really aren't that important, that kind of help you streamline your thought process. I think another thing that we kind of vaguely talk about is that, the hormonal shifts in dieting make you think differently. So being aware of that is very important, that you may not necessarily feel or react like the same person you normally are. And that can be really hard for a partner to watch, and then try to relearn somebody that they've maybe understood for, 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20 years of marriage.
That's right. Yeah, I think that was one of our more popular segments because it comes up for everyone. I say that, and I have the list of topics in front of me right now, Adam, and every single one of them actually has been very popular because these things are often not talked about, because it's either looked at as, something that I should keep quiet. Competitors are embarrassed about them. They maybe don't have the language to bring these different topics up to their coach or their loved ones. And I think the great part about this course is we're teaching you not only how to become more aware that this is a thing, but we're helping you bring language to it. And we're working on skills with you so that you can more effectively manage these things in your life. We talk a lot about willpower and self-control in the course. What is it? When and how do we use it? What's the best way to use it? We distinguish the difference between a mindset that is success-oriented versus a mindset that is mastery-oriented. What does that look like? We do dive into like goals in general, and what do we need to be careful about when we're setting goals? How do we set goals in a real thoughtful and aware way, instead of just kind of setting it and thinking that it's going to run on autopilot? And then something that, of course, is really, really important, not just for competitors, but for everyone who is working on being the healthiest they can be, is what does sustainable and conscious eating look like? We work with plenty of people, Adam, who really have a difficult time post-show because they've been eating in a very specific way. And so they've been practicing a specific way of eating for a pretty long period of time. And so to change that and shift it into a way that is going to work for them more long-term, work for them in a more enduring way, that's going to work in, for example, different contexts, different situations, that promotes general mental, emotional, and physical health. That's more structured and flexible. And you used a great analogy in that segment that I think is really poignant. At some points, our eating is going to, especially when we're in prep, is going to feel like a 2-lane road. We have, very strong boundaries. The lines are very bright. There's only one way. It may be a very narrow lane. And at other times, especially outside of prep, maybe in our off season, or if we're deciding that we're not going to compete anymore, because there's always that possibility, it can look like a 5-lane highway with multiple off ramps. And so how do we deal with that? How do we practice that shift. So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think one thing we didn't discuss was also the self-care aspect and making sure that you actually do take time to not only take care of yourself physically like you are during a prep, but also mentally as well. And, making sure that you're, caring for others that are in your life and making sure that you're keeping those people around that have always been there for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point. And self-care, I just will add this quickly. It's something that's so largely misunderstood. And so we really break it apart and we come up with different ideas about what self-care is, different language too. And that I feel like has been really, really beneficial for the people who've participated, Adam, is just the different perspectives. Like, oh, how many times have we heard, like, I never thought about it that way, or that's completely out of anything that I'd ever really considered. And that's what we want. That's what we want, because a lot of times we're just doing our prep the way that we've always done it, and it's those perspective shifts that make such a difference in our attitudes and the energy that we have when we're pursuing a goal. So
absolutely.
yeah.
So we're doing another launch on this, and we would love to have any of you that are interested join. I know we have a lot of viewers on Contest Prep University that this would definitely apply to. So feel free to reach out to Kori or I. We will be posting soon about when our next date for the class is going to be. And we would love to see you there.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Adam.